Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Heart Now Here Spurs Fans podcast, a podcast which is made by a bunch of yids for all you yids around the world. Hope everyone's doing well, whether you're watching us live on your TikToks, your Facebook, your Instagrams, or you're casually listening to us through your audio platform tomorrow or through the week. We welcome you to the most honest podcast around. And talking of being honest, we have got so much to get through tonight in terms of, the North London derby result. Obviously, where our club is at the moment in terms of ambition for the rest of this season, what we're kind of made of, what we've got, what we're looking at. You've also got the Champions League to think about as well. So we're going to get into it all tonight. But before I start, I just want to welcome two boys that are with me tonight, and that's Matty Kerr and Shane. How we doing, boys?
All good. Love getting full names. It's all good, mate.
Yep.
I
Everyone
never
good,
get
Shane?
my
How you
full
doing?
name. My full name never gets called out.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like people say I don't like people saying my surname. Everyone just calls Matty Kerr.
Yeah.
I want to call you Shane Hall. I can, mate. If it's totally
Nah, good man.
you should have
We're
briefed
good.
me on it. But no, listen, boys. Hope you're doing well. It's been a tough couple of days. I always think when these games are on Sundays and you have a good beer, Monday's your kind of day to get the grogginess out of your system. And then Tuesday for me is the day it'll start sinking in again because I've sobered up and the week's back to normal. You're functioning right. So I mean, to be honest with you, yesterday I sort of just got through my day, of having a heavy weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. So a well due rest for me yesterday, but woke up obviously this morning and it's gone back to haunting me of sort of what's ahead at the moment and sort of what we've just been through. So listen, I want to. There's a lot to talk about, but there's some positive stuff out of Sunday, which may not be so much to do with the football team in terms of the players, but obviously the day that you have when you go down the high road to watch Spurs versus Arsenal and the sort of people it brings out and what sort of atmosphere there is out there. But I will touch on that after. But boys, we'll start where everyone wants us to start, and that's the derby. I'll give you my little brief bit of where I am with it. Is I think, like a lot of people, I think we went in there with a bit of false hope in terms of obviously the result they had in the week against Wolves, and obviously the new manager bounce, which I thought is always a big thing. I said it last week. It's always a big motivational thing for new players coming in, and they've done it for that reason because it was that game, I think, and they wanted something fresh in there for that. So yeah, a lot of us had blinkers on, probably me included. But once the game started, you sort of really realised where we are as a football team. I mean, the first 10 minutes, I kind of noticed that. I think it just started to sink in for me in terms of the level of ability and the level of class that is the difference between our two football clubs. So I'll start with you, Matt. I mean, like I said, the first 10 minutes, I felt like we were playing against a team who had a fucking extra man or two. And that was the way I saw them, that they were drilled and really saw where we are and where they are at that point. Where did you find the start of the game, Matt? And how did you find that we started it? And, did we deserve to go in 1-1 at half time? How was you feeling at half time at that point?
I thought we'd start off by being more in their face, if I'm honest. First 10 minutes, I think we touched the ball about 2 times. Arsenal were just knocking it around constantly. If it wasn't for that linesman losing communication on these devices around there, I still think now we still won't touch the ball. I think that took the sting out of the game a little bit. I thought we started so slow. I think we just set up to sit in this system, and that was it. But Arsenal were knocking about the ball well. To be fair, I think it was just men v boys. Kind of expected that if I would have took a draw, I would have celebrated a draw like we won Europa League, mate. Like that's how much I thought we were going to get absolutely pumped this weekend. And then first half, we done well to go in at 1-1. That's what I think. I think we've done well to go in at 1-1. And then you kind of like hope we can kick on second half, But look, I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more with the atmosphere and that behind us. All the toxic stuff left at the turnstiles. There was nothing toxic really in the stadium. like from our fans to the team and to the board and that, it was just all left that side, and that day was just we're all as one. And I feel like the crowd should have, the players should have gone with the crowd a bit more on that, you know, in the first half to keep us high.
Is that because of, you know, like most games this season, you go in there with a bit of a buzz, especially this one because it's one of our biggest games that we've got. And is that the reason why do you think it went a bit flat in there, because of the way they moved the ball and maybe what I just mentioned there when I saw it and I just thought, yeah, this looks like a really good side against a team that's really struggling. It was pretty evident because I thought we scored against a run of play quite a lot. I mean, I don't remember us having much in front of their goal until the goal, unless I was still fucking pissed up from the night before. But I don't remember much happening in that first half. But do you think that's the reason why the crowd went a bit quiet until the Moani goal, and it's probably why Spurs didn't really come out of the traps?
It's hard, isn't it, Kev? Like, how many times we had this conversation even under Conte, and that atmosphere is so high, and then we're sitting on the end of our edge of our box, and then there's nothing to fight for, and you sit there and like, what's going on? Come on, and you're not getting nothing in return. I think it took one sliding tackle for Mickey van der Ven on Saka on like at the sideline to get the crowd pumped up in the first, like after about 4 minutes, because it just went kind of flat, and then that slide tackle give us another little bit of a boost. And then again, it just kind of went down again. And then we're celebrating a throw on to just get the atmosphere up, you know, like that's kind of how it went. I thought the atmosphere was good though, mate, if I'm honest. I thought the players can't fault the crowd on that day, because no matter how bad with how deep we were and the intensity that the players played out in that game and how dominant Arsenal were, the fans still stuck with the team until I think the third goal winning. The third goal was it just took the sting out of us.
Yeah, I mean, that was when I sort of shut off after the third goal. I thought, you know, I found it quite a tough watch anyway. But Shane, let me come to you. I mean, was you, when Matt was mentioning there about us sitting like quite deep, you know, in the first half and sort of absorbing a lot of pressure where, you know, we're at home, we're the underdogs. We've probably seen worse Spurs teams go at Arsenal teams and ruffle feathers. I mean, that was the way I was looking at it. Was, you know, the atmosphere should be electric. We should be hitting every tackle. But I didn't really see that there. Was you expecting Tudor to start with a different approach, or was you expecting him to sit in there and suck it up for a bit, try and hit him on a counter, a bit like what we've seen a lot under Frank and other managers gone by? Or was you expecting a new manager bounce, or we're going to go out there and we're going to fucking hit him and see what happens?
It's a hard one, really. He's only been there for a few days, hasn't he? So, yeah, it's a hard one. But no matter what, it's a derby. That if them players give it half as much as what the fans did, then it would have been a different game. To go out there, I was buzzing the night before. I was really excited. The day down there with you boys beforehand, the atmosphere is buzzing all around. Like it was a fucking unbelievable atmosphere. But as you both already said, the second the game started, that was it. Everyone just knew it was men against boys, and we were absolute. I never thought from the second that game kicked off that I thought we'd scored, let alone get a draw or a result. I just didn't think. It was just kind of a bag of nerves the whole time, thinking, "Fuck, when's it going to happen? When's it going to happen?" And it's a bit of a relief when the goal went in, as mad as that sounds, because it's just like it's going to come. But yeah, obviously when we scored, you just thought, fucking please, come on, kick on now. But it just didn't come. And there's just no pattern of play. He's only been there 5 days, so I'm not gonna slag him. I'm not gonna say anything about him, because I think we can't judge him until, well, not even really Fulham, but I think Fulham now it would have been 2 weeks. So we can kind of a little bit more after Fulham, which is fucking massive. Obviously, I know we'll get onto it, but yeah, I just expected more, mate. I really did. I weren't happy at all.
Yeah, was you expecting? But when I asked Matt, was you expecting a bit more in terms of atmosphere in there? Or do you think it went quiet in big patches where maybe everybody knew that no matter what we do today, we're going to get fucking rolled anyway, and couldn't get going? Or did you expect the atmosphere to stay there a bit more, being there's a new manager and everything else, and the circumstances we got of injuries and what? Was you expecting a bit of a better atmosphere in the stadium?
Who was that for, Kev? Sorry, mate.
Sorry, that was Shane. Sorry, Shane.
Sorry, mate. I thought you said Matt. Yeah, I was expecting more, mate. I thought, to be fair, I thought the fans, especially where I was sat. I mean, I've sat there before. I blocked 519, and it's been mad quiet around there before. But to be fair, where I was sat, they were giving it. Obviously, the away fans were below us, and I thought their fans were fucking awful until they went 3-1 up. But they were shitting themselves. When it went 1-1, they were scared. Like, they did not say a word. And even at 2-1, they still weren't going mad. Like, they're taking a piss out of it, and they're still worried because they've seen what's happened with the likes of Wolves. But Wolves are going there and not giving up. Yet we just look like we never at any point did I think, oh yeah, we might fucking nick it here. We might get an equaliser. I just didn't feel it at all. And yeah, I mean, where I was sat, mate, until 3-1, I thought the fans were fucking brilliant, giving it loads constantly. But I don't know what it is like everywhere around the ground. But I thought the atmosphere was good, and fair play to the fans because, yeah, as we've all said, it was men against boys, and they just took the absolute piss out of us. But one thing I will quickly say before I forget, because I even wrote it down at work earlier when I knew I was coming on. My mood dipped a little bit completely before the game. Obviously, when I left UK before, we went into the ground quite early. And me and my lad, and obviously the Liverpool game was on. And I said to my lad, we'll watch the last 15 minutes of this and then we'll go to our seats and whatever. And we were in there, mate. And when Liverpool scored, the fucking cheer that it got, and I was like, this is fucking embarrassing. As if we are here cheering Liverpool goals. Like, what has this club become? Like, because Forest obviously relegation battle with us. I was just like, this is fucking embarrassing, and just walked off and went to my seat. But that's why my mood dipped a little bit. Obviously, it picked up again just before the game. But yeah, I just wanted to crowbar that in quickly before I forgot about it. But it just shows exactly where we are as a club at the minute.
Yeah, listen, I'll make you right. I think for this game, especially, I think, I was definitely just in derby mode in terms of when I mentioned the other last week. I've seen really bad sides over the years beat really top Arsenal sides, and sometimes it's just a bit of guts and passion. And I think I was away with the fairies for that in terms of maybe forgetting where we are as a team at the moment and thinking about more of it's a derby. I'm up for it. I'm looking forward to it. Everyone's out and everything else, and you sort of realise fucking after a little while, reality hits you and where you are back in there. And I think that's where the bit of the come down was after the Arsenal game. Was like shit, because it really does start now in terms of Fulham and the games that are coming after that as well. And I'm like you, Shane. I was with you in a pub before, and then I said, there were certain songs being sung in the pub which people couldn't have a laugh about and all that, but deeply it's rooted in me that it hurts to be even bantering and singing songs about being relegated and stuff like that. It's something that me and Matt was speaking about before we come on air, that it really just shouldn't happen. But I think, like I said, I think a lot of people had their blinkers on with the Arsenal game, and I said to Matt before we come on that I probably didn't think about what we had at our disposal in terms of players for that game. I kind of just knew we had 13 players that he only trained with a couple of days before, and thought them lot were going to go out there and do the business. And maybe that was me being really naive with probably many other Spurs fans that, you're playing against a team who's probably got the best squad in Europe at the moment. And, that they're a good side. And when you're playing a team that is as depleted as us, it's really going to take some doing to get anything out of the game. And I think it was really evident. So I think in that sense, I think we just know where we are in terms of if you're comparing us to them, which we've been fucking saying it. And we ain't gonna, we ain't a podcast that comes on here and we'll just cut our neighbours off just because we cut neighbours off. It's, we're honest, and we've said it so many times that this club needs to look at where Arsenal are in terms of a football club. And maybe not just Arsenal, there's a few that are up there, that have been run a certain way in recent years, and they are where they are because of that. And we are where we are because of how we've been run. So, how much I hate to keep saying it, but they need to look at Arsenal as a team. This is a team that we were better than a few years ago, and we're now where we are and where they are. So something's gone wrong with us in the way that we've applied ourselves. people will say about the stadium and all that. I'm not having that anymore. I think we've wasted a lot of money on players that we didn't need to. We've never loosened the wage budget. They have, and it's just about having a bit of ambition. And I think Villa are another team that have showed that. Newcastle to a point have, even though they're wrapped up with financial fair play, but there's a bit of ambition in certain players they want, and I think we've lacked that, which is clearly what everyone thinks, and is the reason why we are where we are. But Matt, let me just talk to you about the where we are as a football club at the moment, and me and you have been strong advocates of this relegation thing for a while now, and TJ has been on there a few times. I think he's starting to agree with us now where this could be going unless we start picking up things. And how do you look at the next few games, Matt? And from what you've seen since we've been having them conversations, is there anything that's made you think, we will be okay, or are you still in the boat of, look, we're in fucking big trouble here, and if we don't start pulling our finger out, we're going to drop more points, and clubs below us are going to start grabbing points. And it's that thing, Matt, of another thing of, do we have the bottle to have a fight down there? So where are you, Matt, in terms of where we are at the moment with the current players we've got, with the manager we've got, and in terms of fight against these teams that we should be beating that are in and around us?
Oh, mate, we're in deep shit. Like, we're in a proper relegation battle. When it comes to halfway through the season and you're like down there, you have to start like raising eyebrows, thinking, hang on, what's going on? When you get to 3/4 of the stadium season and you're still down there, you're going to kind of be like, right, okay, yeah, we're in a bad way right now. And look, if players weren't injured and we had players available, we probably won't be in this situation, but they are, and I can't see a way out right now. Like Fulham this weekend, I don't see anything against Fulham, but we need something because West Ham are at Anfield. So we have to go and win Sunday to at least make that 7 points to give us a bit of a cushion, because right now we're not getting no players back from like suspension or injuries. I think we got Pedro Porro and Danso back, which, yeah, massive. Like, I ain't going to lie, because Archie Gray was so out of his depth against Arsenal. And Polinia on that right-hand side of the back three, like with Polinia and Gray. So I think bringing in Danso and Porro gives us a bit of stability. But I don't want to see that long ball, what we kept doing. Like, we just kept pumping the ball up the pitch as a long ball. And we have to
Matt, what was all that about, Matt? That's a great point. What was all that about? I mean, I don't even think I've seen him do that under Frank. At least he tried to play out, but that, I didn't understand what they were trying to do with that.
I have no idea. Like, is it that no one wants the ball, or is it like Vicario don't trust no one? But what killed me is we went 3-1 down, and then we start playing out from the back. Like, but at 0-0, 1-0 down, and that we're going long. You think, what are we doing? Like, but then at 3-1 down, everyone wants to take their time. But the fans are like telling Vicario to hurry up, but then we start playing out from the back, and then Spence is trying to have his own individual strength battles, like trying to think, I'm going to be stronger than this player, and then he's running back to his own corner flag rather than just playing the ball down the line. I just think it was a bit of a shambles tactically. But look, I'm not going to get on to Trudeau. I think we have no choice to get behind the guy and believe in what he's going to do to get us to the end of the season and hope we survive. But my issue is the next manager that comes in the summer, and he walks into that dressing room, Kev, with like when the season's season, the new manager's going to look and be like, I've got a fantastic team here.
Yeah, what division are we in at that point?
Kev, I do think we survive. Yeah, I do think we survive. Yeah, I do. I don't see our next win until Crystal Palace at home. I think we lose at Fulham, and I think we lose at Anfield.
Yeah, Liverpool after Palace.
Yeah, I think we beat Crystal Palace on that Thursday night. And I think we've got Nottingham Forest and Brighton at home. In these remaining fixtures, I do think we pick up 3 or 4 wins. We're lucky that West Ham are pretty poor, and West Ham have got some tough fixtures coming up. Yeah,
they've got a shit run. West Ham.
And they've got Arsenal as well. And Arsenal, it's not like, I think if it was the other way around and Arsenal weren't in the title race, Arsenal would probably be like, West Ham, we're going to let you fucking beat us because we want them fuckers to go down. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think it's going to be that way like this year because the way the Premier League's going. But look, I do think Spurs will get 3 or 4 wins, and I do think we'll be safe. If Spurs get 3 or 4 wins, that means West Ham have to get 6 wins potentially. to survive, and I don't see that happening. But most of Kev, Spurs just need players back, and that is it. We need players available. We can't do it with the 13 senior fit players we've got available right now, because that is a championship, or let's say stroke lower league Premier League team right now as we speak. That starting 11 on the weekend is a struggling Premier League team.
I mean, Shane, quickly, let me just pick up on what Matt said there. I mean, I think I read something today that a bit of a debate. Could this Tottenham team be the best team to ever go down in Premier League history in terms of the players it has? Do you agree with that? Do you think that this team, have the players? The players are too good for this sort of team to go down, or are you with Matt? Do you see the wins? I mean, I think there are wins there. Not guaranteed wins, but I think, like you said, with teams maybe below us dropping points might be our saviour this year in terms of that. Where are you at with all that, Shane?
If they are the best team, they're not fucking showing it. Like, if they are the best players to go down, they're not showing it. They're not showing that bottle. My biggest worry is we drop into that 18th position. I don't think they've got the bollocks to get out of it. I genuinely don't. And I've been saying all day, and to friends at work and people even on here listening and whatever may think, oh, fucking hell, shut up. But I genuinely think at the moment, what I am seeing, I think we are the worst team in that league. There's not a single team that I would want to play at the moment.
Is that in terms of when you watch other teams who may not be as good as us on paper, but just show a bit more bottle and fighting?
Yeah, that's 100% what I mean. So we're saying about that. I don't agree with all this. People saying, "Oh, if we get 2 or 3 wins, mathematically we'll be set." It's not, because West Ham are picking up points. Wolves are. I know Wolves and Burnley are probably that, but like the teams around us are fucking fighting, and they are picking up points. Whether it's wins, whether it's draws, we're just fucking losing, and we're not even looking like we're getting anything. Yeah, I'm petrified. I really am. I'm not going to lie. And I think this game on Sunday, I hope Matt's right. Matt's, to be fair, missed it. Matt, I normally call him, because normally fucking all right with the old predictions. But
does all right on accumulators as well, to be fair.
Yeah, I couldn't win a fucking argument. So, but my biggest worry is if we don't win on Sunday, I think everyone, like all of us, our heads are dropping like fuck. Mine's dropped already. But we don't win that. Then, like you say, then you've got Liverpool. If we don't get a couple of wins then, and others are picking up, I just don't see us having the bollocks to get out of that 18th position. I genuinely don't.
Yeah, I think when I read the fixtures out, away to Fulham, home to Palace, away to Liverpool, home to Forest, away to Sunderland, home to Brighton, away to Wolves, away to Villa, home to Leeds, and then you've got Chelsea away, and then you've got Everton at home. I mean, there are games there that you should be winning.
You should be winning a lot of them, Kev, but we haven't.
But the thing is, Shay, I look at them teams like Wolves, like Crystal Palace, like Fulham, and I've seen them teams play, be in a bit of shit form at some point this year, but they seem to have got out. Leeds are another one. Leeds can always strike a result when they want to. And I think that's the difference. What I don't see when I watch Wolves and everyone else on the telly, I just see that they're fighting. And these are teams that are fighting. They're already fucking gone as well, and they're used to being down there. So that's the experience of the scrap, where Matt, I think with us not having the experience of being down there and having a coach who's got no experience of being down there in the Premier League, we've got players that have not used to being down there. We've got a board, and we've got supporters that are not used to being down there. As a collective, you all need to come together to change the fortune. I mean, I think we're bottom of the form table now, like massively, aren't we? I think we haven't won. Have we not won in? Is it 9 or 10? We haven't won in the Premier League. It's something like that, isn't it?
I don't know how many we ain't won this year. Kev, do you know what? I was thinking it's like, if we don't beat Fulham,
which is a tough game anyway, I think.
Yeah, it is. But that Crystal Palace game on a Thursday night, I was sitting there thinking, I can't be bothered to go to that Crystal Palace game. But if we don't beat Fulham, I feel like I'll have to go to that game, because I want to get behind that team, because that there is a must-win game. And I feel like everyone has to come together and have to be there and make that an atmosphere like that's a fucking North London derby. and we have to scare Crystal Palace off the park to pick up 3 points. Like, simple as that. Like,
Do you know, Matt, I totally agree with you, but do you know, I think some people would be a bit too embarrassed to be like that against Crystal Palace and have to be like that. And I don't think you'll get the right clientele down there. People who are diehards, people who are petrified of us going down, to really get behind them and make that sort of thing. I mean, Arsenal wasn't, we didn't scare Arsenal off the park in terms of support and jeering and everything else. So what makes you think they're going to get up for that against Crystal Palace? Because a lot of people don't think we'll go down, Matt. So they're going to treat this game just like any other game. But
Kev, I look at it and I think, what's more embarrassing, getting relegated or putting on an intimidating atmosphere against Crystal Palace to try and win and get 3 points to make it safe? Like, I'd be more embarrassed getting relegated than putting on an atmosphere against Crystal Palace. Yeah,
no, I'm totally with you. I mean, it's a tough one to get down there in the week for anybody. And I think that might be an issue with atmosphere down there. I think there could be a few empty seats down there, but in terms of our next home game at home and the situation we're in, I agree it's a must win because I think Fulham is going to be tough. But we'll get on to Fulham in a bit. I just want to mention our sponsors quickly. A big shout out to Mitch at Hotspur Heritage, who do all your unique prints. Anything retro you want, anything nostalgia. I know Shane for first hand has grabbed some bits off him. Lovely guy as well. So check out Hotspur Heritage on your Instagram and your TikTok. And Ophthalmos UK, improving vision in children, adults, eyes in the Hertfordshire area as well. And they can follow them on Facebook and Instagram. So thank you for your support this year. Probably hasn't been the best year to get be honest, but you help us massively with our podcast and moving on with numbers and everything else. So from us, the boys, we appreciate that. I do want to quickly go on to Fulham because I do want to speak about Fulham and then the Champions League, and I do want to finish on a bit of a high note. So Fulham, I don't really know the state of play. Matt, you're saying we've got Porro and Danso back. Does that fill you with enough hope of going to get 3 points at Craven Cottage? You're a team sometimes who are a bit hit and miss, but you catch them on a good day that they're a tough team, and obviously the way we are at the moment, what do you think? How do you think we would get on?
That having Porro and Danso back fills me a bit more confidence than having Paulinho and
your mate's back though. Richarlison will be back, probably.
Listen, Kev, people say about it, mate, but come on, he nearly scored the other day, mate. Puts himself about, mate. He's the sort of guy you want leading your line when you're in a dogfight, yeah, because he will give you everything. Like, he's the kind of a guy that you want for a relegation battle.
He'll give me, he's fucking used to it. So with Everton, the team he's fucking played with. Hang on, I think he kept him up more or less. Even Dele Alli, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Kept him up.
Well, I don't know, Kev. We need Porro back because that right-hand side needs addressing. It does. I think
I do think Porro and Udogie are big misses at the moment.
Yeah, Udogie, 100%. Yeah, if we could have them as wing backs, you know what I mean? We can, but Udogie's going to be out for another 3-4 weeks. Look, I feel like we need Kudus. We need Kudus back, man. We need something like that. Kulu and Maddison. I think we have to write them off for the rest of the season. They're done. We definitely need Udogie and Kudus back, man. We need Kuti back as well. We need Ramiro back. If we went in the weekend with Van der Ven, Radu and Ramiro, I don't think we would have got opened up as much as what we did. But we were just battered. And I think it gives a chance to Paulinho to go back into midfield as well, we're missing a bit of bite, someone that wants to fucking get stuck in and that, because even Conor Gallagher at the minute, boys, he's not even doing what we thought he would be doing, getting in, making, nibbling ankles, getting in around, he's not doing that. So having Paulinho back in midfield, I think would be good. But look, Kev, with West Ham at Anfield, we have to get something at Fulham. We have to. If we could go there and win, I feel confident Liverpool will beat West Ham. But that will give us 7 points if we can go and beat Fulham. Yeah, with 10 games left, I think it is. But at least that way, it's a bit of a cushion to then build on against the Crystal Palace. If we go and beat Crystal Palace again after that, we're going to be, basically, I feel like we're going to be up then, yeah? But we have to beat Fulham. I don't think we are going to beat Fulham. I don't think we've got it in us to go and beat Fulham. We've got a shit record at Craven Cottage. And I don't think we are going to go and beat them, but we have to beat them.
Yeah, so what's the score going to be, Matt, for you?
2-1 Fulham.
2-1 Fulham. Are you, Shane? Are you with Matt in terms of using this game as a bit of a platform to go on to the Palace game? I mean, I'm sure you're going to agree with me and Matt. Fulham's going to be a tough game, but how important is it to get not only a positive result out of it going into Palace, but also a positive performance as well? Because I think if you get rolled at Fulham, I mean, I think the problem is, Shane, at the moment, every team fancies it against us, and any team who can't fucking buy a win can't wait to play us because they know they can roll us over. And I do think that's a fragile state of mind that the club is in and the players are in at the moment. But yeah, how important is it to get maybe just a performance as much as the points for Sunday going into Palace?
I think the win, mate. I think the win's so important against Fulham. They've just obviously done Sunderland, who are a good team. And my brother-in-law just texted me. He's watching, and he's a massive Liverpool fan. He'll fucking agree with me. I don't fancy Liverpool at the minute either. They're so hit and miss. So, the way West Ham are playing, it wouldn't surprise me if they get a fucking result there. So I think it's massive Fulham. I'm really hoping that we get that new manager bounce this week. He's had a week with them. They've all realised, you know what, we are going to shit here. Because I don't know if any of you guys know, but what happens? Obviously, I don't even want to fucking talk about it. But if we were to get relegated, like, what happens with their contracts? Are they on the same money? Can they just leave? So if that is, they can't just get out of their contract and they're not on the same money or their money drops. Surely they want to, not only for the embarrassment, but for their livelihoods as well, and their money, their income and stuff. They've got to show a bit of fucking fight, man. I'm here losing sleep over it and fucking stressing at the missus and all the rest of it, which I'm sure everyone listening and all of us are exactly the same. It's fucking ruining me, absolutely ruining me, and it's doing my head in. But my biggest fear is, I agree with Matt and you, Kev. Porro and Dante will be massive coming back. They ain't gonna fucking get us no goals. It's who is going to get the goals.
I think when I mentioned Porro, I mean, I don't rate him as a defender at all. I think in the final third,
delivery,
and stuff like that, that's probably the only perk of having him back for me.
But his like how he's setting up, obviously, it's just like we had no wingers, we had no width at the weekend. There was just nothing. Every time, like you say, you go in, hoofing it down the line, and there's fucking no one there. You've got Simmons going out wide, and it's just not working. I don't know
like you said though, Shane, with Tudor just coming in. I mean, I know he had a few days of training with him, but really, I think he come out and said after the Arsenal game, he looks at these players that are good football players, but they picked up some shit habits over whenever it was, and then they brought it into game. And I don't know if you saw the clip with Van der Ven when he's asking Van der Ven to fucking push up, and Van der Ven's looking at him like he's a complete cunt. And everyone have their opinions on Van der Ven at the moment and Romero of players that want to come out, but we kind of need players that are going to fucking respect this geezer and what he's got. And if we are going to get players that will look at their manager like he's a cunt when they're asking him to go up the pitch, I think we're all in fucking trouble. And they're not the players we need in these games against Fulham and
do you think
you can't drop him though, Kev?
Huh?
Do you think Van der Ven's kind of checked out now?
Oh, mate, fucking big time. I think his head is fucking, his agents be in his head. There'll be clubs phone up his agents now, trying to sort it all out. It'd be fucking. The thing is, he could play anywhere in Europe, and that's the problem we got.
You can't drop him either.
That's what you're talking about as well. I think the disrespect that Van der Ven's shown there is. We don't know the full story. We only see a little clip, but that little clip, people will read into that a lot. I read into that, and I was like, he's taking a fucking piss. Like, you could see Tudor losing his head on the sideline, trying to get him up, and Van der Ven's just looking at him and looking away. You sit there and you think, I don't know if I'm just reading into this 10-second clip.
I agree. He done that with Frank as well. Obviously, the Frank moment as well. I just think Van der Ven now realizes that he's a top player and he's in a fucking mess of a team. The board have probably promised him loads of shit like Romero, come and sign a new contract and we'll do this. And I just think he does. I think there's just a breakdown between coach, players, and board. And people have been promised things and it hasn't happened. And people will be like, well, I'm not being lied to. So I'll fuck off when I can fuck off.
Kev, you can't. The thing is, mate, really, after everything that he's been doing recently, like I said, with the Frank thing and then the way he's come out and then what he's done at the weekend, he should be dropped. but we can't. We cannot drop him. He's
Yep.
our only like main defender. But if say for instance this was next season and we had a new manager, a permanent manager, he should be dropped for what he's doing now. But in the position we're in, and with an interim manager and all the rest of it, we can't drop him. So he's just
No.
going to take the piss. He'll do what the fuck he wants.
Yeah, no, but I think that's disappointing because I think you've got the fucking armband at the moment as well. And if your coach is telling anybody to get up and give an instruction to, he's the messenger for the rest of that team on the pitch. And if you're wearing that armband and he turns around to manager and goes, "Hey, fuck you, I ain't doing nothing," then what the fuck does it send a message out to the rest of the team? And that's probably half the reason why we're in this shit. I know I told you about it. It steps from the board and it works its way down all the way to where we are now. And poor player recruitment has got us where we are as well. And I say that in regards to January as well. I mean, this board have let his team go to shit, and you've got to play players like Romero who want to play up and slag you off. Van der Velde doesn't want to listen to his coach. You're forced to play him because you have no other choice, and you don't have another choice because you haven't decided to put your fucking hand in your pocket, and you just thought maybe we were too good to slip even lower. And if this team does go down, that board would be fucking fully responsible for me. It'd be a massive part of it. Yes, the players have played up and maybe not played as well, but they fucked up with not only the manager situation, who they brought in, who they've chopped and changed for now, but it's also the player recruitment as well. And we don't know the ins and outs of these managers, if they wanted these players, like Frank wanted other players. I know the Semenyo thing I've heard and all that, but if, they really wanted them sort of players, they would have got Semenyo fucking when they wanted him last year and never did because they didn't want to spend it. And that would be the biggest factor if everything goes to shit is mainly because of that. But bad attitudes, like you're saying, Shane, is not what we need going into these games. Like, these are crunch games we've got coming up. There's only a couple that I'll write off, but the rest of them, they're must wins. But if you can't beat Crystal Palace and you can't beat fucking Nottingham Forest at home, then I'm sorry, but you fucking deserve to go down. If you can't get results out of them games with the team that we are and the players that we still have available, because some of them 13 players are still fucking good enough to play better than they are. If they can't pull themselves out for them games, then we really are fucked because, they're games that you just have to win. There's no excuses if you want to stay in this league. And, embarrassing to be having this conversation at the same time as well, But, Matt, let me come back to you.
Go back to that. That's why I'm glad Danso's back. I thought Basuma. I think he's the type of guy, Basuma, Danso, these are the type of players that are going to roll their sleeves up and put in the fucking shift for you, yeah? Not your Van der Vens. Your Van der Vens probably thinks he's checked out, he's bigger than what he is. But having Danso back, like, people might think, it's Danso. But he's the type of guy that's going to get you out of a relegation scrap, yeah? He's going to give you everything.
Yep.
I even think Basuma is basically at the door, but you could see in that North London derby, he'd give you something. Do you know what I mean? He had that bit of bite to him. And he's a talk. They're the talk players we need in that squad right now.
Yeah, I think we're having Danso over Dragusin anyway at the moment. I mean, I think that's one thing. Dragusin's just come back, but I think like you said, Danso is a roll your sleeves up kind of fucking player, and we are missing leaders like that. And I don't know about you boys, but I look at Danso and I just think he's one of them that would just fucking give everything. A bit of a Ben Davis type in terms of, look, we're just going to go out there and we're just going to fucking put ourselves about and roll our sleeves up and play for the badge. And I think our problem is, boys, is not many of them sort of players in that team at the moment that are willing to do that. And that's the fucking sad thing, because a few of them have been there for a while as well and took a lot of money, took some money out of the wages. We've probably paid stupid money for them. They haven't lived up to their name. So when you need them the most, can they deliver for you? And that's what we're going to find out in the next few coming months with this football team. But yeah, like Matt, I was just going to flip it quickly on to the Champions League. I mean, to think that we're in this fucking state domestically, but to think that we're waiting on these results this week to find out if we're going to play. Well, now it's going to be Atletico Madrid after smashing Bruges tonight, or Galatasaray. Probably Galatasaray with being 5-2 up against Juventus. I mean, going into that round of the Champions League and then being one place away from the quarterfinals. Can this team, a bit like last year, even though we weren't in the shit as much as we are this year, but can this team put the league thing on the back burner and juggle a Champions League run with it and defy the odds and go far into the Champions League whilst being in the relegation zone in the Premiership?
Not a chance. The board have been making that very clear. Premier League survival is priority. End of. Like, it is what it is with the Champions League. I think we're just in there, and if we get through the next round, we're just going to go out the round after. We're not going to go deep into the Champions League, but the priority is to stay in the Premier League. Simple as that.
So what does Tudor do, Matt? When when we play in the Champions League before Liverpool, how does he address it? Will he go out there and put kids out because survival is important?
I think that
or do you risk your 13 players that you've got fit?
No, I think that depends on the Fulham. That depends on the Fulham and the Crystal Palace results. I think it depends on them.
So what you're saying?
It all comes down to how we the results. If we get anything out of Fulham and Crystal Palace, if we can manage to get 4 or 6 points, I think we'll go into that Champions League game squad, first leg strong.
Can you risk injury, Matt? Can you risk injury knowing that you still are not mathematically safe and survival is important? You know.
Yeah, look, I get it. I think he'll make rotation in the Champions League. I do. I think that, look, even me, I would love to win the Champions League. Yeah, if it meant going into the Championship, getting relegated and winning the Champions League, I would take the Champions League all day and play.
Has that happened to you on Championship Manager yet?
Huh?
Has that happened to you on Championship Manager yet?
It hasn't, Kev. It hasn't. I'm too good to go down. No, but I would. But realistically, as a club, I think that could financially damage us so much going to the Championship. I think the priority is staying in the Premier League. Like, end of the day, Champions League football, we go out this year. If we fucking sort ourselves out, in 4 years' time, we could be back in the Champions League. If we go into the Championship, there's no guarantee we're coming back up because it's one of the toughest leagues to ever come back up.
Yeah, well, not only that, but you lose all your best fucking players as
Exactly,
well.
Exactly. I mean, we'll never be that club again. So, for me, I'm not bothered about the Champions League. I couldn't care less. I'll go to it. Of course I will. However, Premier League survival is the priority.
Yeah, Shane, where do you sit on the Champions League? Well, I mean, I'm quite selfish because I like to go away and go abroad and like to see different places. But you know, that's kind of testing me at the moment with Matt's points there of, you know, we probably really could do with going out of this and just concentrating on the players we've got fit for these league games. But do you want to see us have a run in the Champions League? Are you enjoying that side of us, or you know, how far do you think we can go in this, and as well as juggle Premier League survival if you think we're going to stay up?
No, I'm with Matt, mate. Not a fucking chance. Go out I couldn't give a shit. Go out straight away, and just focus on staying up because that's more important. And you touched on it then, Kev, about the squad. We haven't got enough players to risk getting injured. We're a Van der Ven injury or a Paulinho injury away from a fucking disaster. Like, I just can't even. We haven't got anyone to bring on. It's bad times at the minute, mate. I can't even get my fucking words out because my head's up my ass. I'm worried, mate. I really am. And the thing is, we haven't got anyone coming back either, really. I know, like we said, Pyro and Danzo. There's no, like, if they said, yeah, Kudus is back in a couple of weeks, like, obviously we have got an international break. That worries me as well, because how often do we get injuries in the international break? The only thing is, I think Spence has played himself off the plane. I think since he got that England call up, he's been fucking shite. And recently, for me, he just, Matt said it earlier, he's just trying to be Billy Big Bollocks to himself. Oh, yeah, I can muscle this player off without actually worrying about what he's doing in the game. I don't think he'll be on that. And just like something as well, I also didn't say earlier, it's like Solanke weren't at training because he had a sore throat. Imagine if one of us rang up work, said, I can't come into work because I've got a sore throat.
My manager wouldn't have me if I had one leg, he'd want me fucking still in there, mate.
Mate, a sore throat. Like, what the fuck is going on? He's on antibiotics. Just fucking get out of there and play. It's absolutely mental. But it worries me, Kev. But yeah, go straight out of the Champions League. Have you seen the thing that come out today? I don't know what paper it was on. I've seen it online earlier saying about if we avoid relegation, that the board is saying that they're going to scrap all the wage thing and they're going to spend big. I know they've said it all before, but
I'm
there
not
was
falling
something
into that
released
trap.
today.
They want people.
Nah,
They
like,
want people to renew season fucking tickets. You think
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
falling into that trap?
Yeah, do you know
yeah.
what? It's a great point, Shane, because I mean, I was supposed to mention that tonight. I was just about to forget about it, but yeah, I mean, the timing of the season ticket freezing prices and that shit that come out today. I mean, how they expect us to trust them in these situations of listening to you say this and say that after what you've said that you're going to do for the last sort of maybe 18 months, especially this season as well. And I'm going as recently back as the summer. You know, you got to take it a fucking fart in the wind, really, with what they come out with. It's all fucking hot air. But yeah, it's the timing of it. It's them worrying as a board where things are going, trying to keep as many people on side as they can, talking about like within the supporters trust and all that. And I think my brother-in-law said it on the group chat today. He just says, you know, it's all mouth and no action, and that's how this board has been. And boards previously gone by under Levy's ownership as well. We just don't say it and don't do it, and that's why there is a breakdown of trust between the fan base and the current owners, and that's why we've wanted the last owner out, and now we want this owner out because we're fed loads of bullshit, and it's, you know, you're taking the piss out of your supporters who follow the fucking club everywhere. And I'm talking about the people that sit at home and fucking watch them. Anyone that puts any effort into supporting this team, whether you're traveling on a plane abroad or you're watching it on your fucking telly, whatever it is, you're mugged off. And I think that's what gives people the fucking ump, and why it is what it is. But like I said, boys, it's player recruitment for me is the massive factor of why we are where we are. And we're talking about an embarrassing conversation about relegation. Is because we've been let down by the football club itself. And you know, I was on the way home after the Arsenal game on a train. And I was talking to this geezer who's a bit older than me, and he's seen, you know, he's seen the 70 side as well that went down, and he says they weren't even as bad as this. Um, and he was sort of saying, you know, it's sort of this board sort of deserve things to go wrong, and I said that to him, and I said, you know, I'd want a little part of me wants the worst to happen for change. But then this other guy stood up and went, like Matt said, if we go down, we'll never recover. So it's like, but if we go down, if we don't go down, how much is this board going to change? How much has this scared them into thinking, right, we are going to go out and release the wage budget and everything else? Because there'll be no European football next year as well. So it's like, you know, you're sort of fighting against it. You've frozen season ticket prices, which you fucking should, by the way. And if we do go down, they shouldn't stay frozen. They should be fucking slashed in half, asking people to go and watch, you know, in the championship at them prices is an actual piss take as well. So I think just all in all, I think the club is in a fucking state. And until we know where we are next year, I don't really know what's going to happen. And I think we're going to be in the dark until then. So all we can do at the moment is hope that we do stay in. Hope that we get Chelsea in the quarterfinals of the Champions League and get knocked out straight away. And then we can sort of plan ahead with the new manager coming in the summer and everything else. So listen, boys, it's going to be a mad one over the next few months, but it's a roller coaster that we've all fucking been on before. We fucking ride it with no hands every fucking time. So, you know, who knows what will happen. But listen, boys, just to finish on a high note, I want to give a massive shout out to the Bill Nicholson pub on Sunday. Haven't been there as much as we should have this year. It's quite difficult to get down there as much as I can. But, you know, we chose that pub. We know the people in there really, really well. Been in there a few times, but, you know, when you've got Arsenal at home, it comes around once a year. So you need to make sure you pick the best boozer that you think will be the best atmosphere, and obviously pick the best people to make that boozer a fantastic atmosphere. So I just want to come on here and shout out to the Bill Nick for probably giving me my biggest highlight of pre-match experience down, especially at home this season, in terms of the party that they threw on Sunday at pre-match. If you listen, mate, if you're listening to this and you was down there, you'll know what I'm on about. If you wasn't down there, you fucking definitely missed out in terms of the atmosphere, the people. And I mean, when I say people, I mean people that are faces around the place, people who you haven't seen for a while. These sort of games, everybody just congregates together and everybody comes out for them. And everyone mostly everyone chose the Bill Nick to do that. And that's not slagging any other pubs off because I weren't in them, so I don't know what they were like. But I think the Bill Nick would have took a fucking massive beating if there was a pub better than that. So just before we touch on little moments of what happened down there, Matt, you was in there with me. Shane, you was in there with me. I don't know if you might have left a bit too early, Shane. I don't know. Matt, you might have turned up a bit late, but what was your experience of the Bill Nick on a North London derby day before?
My experience, Kev, I'm surprised you even remember your experience, mate. You were so out of your face, mate. It was unbelievable. How do you remember I was in the Bill Nick?
I think I saw you. I saw you about 5-10 minutes. I saw you with a jug, and that was it. You disappeared.
No, honestly, it was absolutely buzzing in there, man. The atmosphere, everyone was just together. The songs were just going off. Obviously, the DJ was flying. You had that Timothy. You even had David Bentley bouncing around in there. What the fuck's going on in here? Do you know what I mean? And then from there, I went to the South Stands, and it was absolutely pumping in there. And David Bentley was bouncing around in there. Where's he come from?
No, mate, he was bouncing around fucking everywhere, especially in the Bill Nick.
I didn't see this geezer for years. Never even heard of his name for ages. And now suddenly he's just there, like bouncing around everywhere.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, the Bill Nick was absolutely rocking. So if anyone is watching this and you haven't experienced the Bill Nick on a big match day or any match day, get yourself down there.
Yeah, Shane, I don't know. I mean, I don't think I've had a beer with you in there before. I don't think. I know we had something in pre-season. We went down and we met up. But you know, you had your boy with you. What was his experience like of it being in there and obviously rocking like that?
It's hard for me because I don't drink in front of the little one. It's just something I've always done from an experience from I seen with a friend from when I was a kid. So I swore I wouldn't drink in front of the kids. And if I was with my eldest, he's nearly 18 now, so it's absolutely sound. But yeah, the little one, he's a bit of a soft lad, so he's a bit like, it's a bit loud for him, a bit boisterous and stuff. For me, I would have stayed there all fucking day. It was absolutely pumping. And shout out to there's a couple of geezers that just before I seen you, Kev, they were like, "Oh shit, it's Shane, isn't it? I've seen you on a podcast and that." Didn't have a fucking clue who they were, but handshake and I felt like some fucking celebrity in there. But no, it's everyone's just lovely. And what I love as well with going down to Spurs, like I said, my little one is he's a bit quiet and he's a bit soft lad and he's just a like kind-hearted little kid. He's not really used to the big boys just being in boozer and that because I'm not a big drinker. But everyone there just makes him feel so at ease. So when he is walking around, everyone's shaking his hand, asking him what he thinks the score is going to be, making him feel comfortable. So yeah, it was quality. But yeah, I did leave a little bit too early because he was whinging, saying it's a bit too hot and stuff like that. But next time,
it was packed in there. To be fair, like I mean, it was a fucking sweatbox, wasn't it? At one point.
Yeah, when I was walking up to Bill Nick, I saw Shane and his little boy. I said, "Where you going?" He goes, "Oh, I've got to go Spurs shop. You know, they've got to go in the stadium and get some sausage rolls and that." Do you know what I mean? I see him outside Sainsbury's.
Yeah, I mean, it was fucking brilliant, and then the boys that run it, they put certain bits on. You know, they got certain people down, like mentioned David Bentley, the rabbi in there. Not just like the famous faces of people that make the party thing, but I mean, like the little boy. I don't know who you are, so this little lad, and I don't know whose kid it was, but you dressed him up. You put the boy in a right little Peaky Blinder. He had a flat cap on. He had the big coat on. He stood up and he had everybody singing. And them sort of things that, you know, my boy used to do that when he was young, and it creates a lot of memories and it feels great for the kid. And I was that kid in the pub with my dad as well, who used to stand up there and sing songs, and it's fucking brilliant for everybody as well. But every sort of age was in there as well, from the old school to the youngest to the little lad who was singing Spurs songs, get everyone going. And I just think when you have a blend of it like that, especially on Derby Day, I think might have been the reason why I was also pumped about going in there. That pub definitely got me pumped. You know, I mean, I went out Saturday night, which I shouldn't have, and I could not fucking get up Sunday morning, and I was dreading it. But as soon as I got into Bill Nick and got on the fucking Jugger Cruise Campo, then on the Jack Daniels, it all fucking changed. But it was the people that was in there that made it special. And when I say people, I do want to mention David Bentley because I said I would. What an absolute fucking diamond of a bloke in terms of the way he conducted himself in there. Because there are some people who they say, you know, you don't really want to meet your sort of your heroes or your players or players gone by because you sort of have a bit of an affection for them in terms of how they were. When I talk about David Bentley, I always think about when he drowned Harry Redknapp with the ice bucket and things like that. And he is that kind of character. And sometimes you might see that on TV, but you might not see that in real life. But when Bentley come in that fucking pub, he not only got everyone fucking bouncing, because I've seen him on the socials lately. He's a bit of a mad cunt as well, which is great. But he really brought that energy into that pub in terms of that. And I watched him dart around, and there were so many people, including my son, including me and TJ, to be fair, who wanted a picture with him. And I didn't see that geezer turn down one person for a fucking picture in that pub. And there was fucking hundreds of people in there. And he was bouncing around and he got everyone going, grabbed the rabbi's fucking walking stick. And I really want to give...
Oh, yeah, the rabbi.
Yeah, the rabbi was in there. And, you know, had a bit of a quick chat with Bentley, and it would be lovely to get him on here as well. And I think the rabbi would be a fantastic guest. A lot of people saying in the pub, get the rabbi on, and David Bentley as well. So we will try and do that as the weeks go on. We mentioned David Bentley in an Instagram post today, which he's been kind enough to like. My son mentioned him in his own personal Instagram story, which he liked as well. So he's a man of the people. So we'll have to see. But lovely guy, and I thought he made that that afternoon even more electric than it was. So well done to him and the Building It boys for making it such a great night and a great day. And yeah, we need more games like that. It shouldn't just be the North London derbies that are like that. It should be every home game if we can. But it's difficult because we're in a slump. People are not happy. We may need the big game to get everyone up at the moment. But like you said, if reality hits a lot of fans quickly, we might need the atmosphere to be at games like Palace, Forest, Leeds, all these home games we've got coming up. Because the away support is never in doubt, lads. It's always fantastic when you go. Shane was with me at United. Fucking unbelievable atmosphere, considering the way the game was gone, the result. And them fans will always be there. We just need them to be at home now because the home games are most important. And we need to turn
players, Kev, need to give us something to fucking cheer about because the fans will always be there and the fans will always give it as long as they've got something to cheer about. Like you said, the away fans do it no matter what. But I feel like the home atmosphere is based on the performance. When they're as shit as they are, it's so hard for any of us to cheer them on. Give us something to fucking cheer about and we will sing for 90 minutes non-stop. But give us something to cheer
agree,
about.
Mate. We need everyone there at the home games. We need them passionate supporters. If anybody wants any home tickets, I won't be going for the rest of the season. So give me a shout if you need any home tickets.
You know what, okay? I was in that mentality, like, but I'm kind of at a point where I feel like they're going to need us. That them players are going to need us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but I think you're right, Matt. It's the guilt thing. I think, you know, I'm saying, I spat in the group chat the other yesterday, and you saw it where I said, like, I'm not happy, don't want to go anymore, I don't want to go to any more Premier League games. But I know what'll happen. I'll say that, and the guilt would eat me up for not being there if they don't win, and I feel like I should be there. And I think that's where we are at the moment. And I think everyone needs to be like that, if you make me right. So, boys, thanks for coming on tonight. I know it's been a bit of a struggle talking about the derby. But listen, we've got some guests coming up, lined up in the next couple of weeks, and hopefully we can make them a good podcast as well as having a great result in terms of future episodes coming up. And it ain't all just doom and gloom. So, but boys, from me, Shane, Matt, thanks very much, boys. Until next week, when we talk about Fulham, we'll be back. The Heart Now Here Spurs Fans podcast. That was Spurs.